Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of Barcast Daily. It is August 5th, 2023. We're having a great day so far. I hope you are too. And we're going to be doing this game live, so sitting here in the client, found a really high-ranking lobby with some very talented players, hanging out with Andy, new player Chisato from FAF. And we're going to be reviewing this or watching together this Eco Noob versus Slow match on a map I'm considering putting in the map pool for our 1v1 tournament. So this is Fallendell for those who haven't seen this before. High wind, lots of reclaim everywhere. We see in these kind of four corners there is a decent amount of metal all over the place. So should be an interesting map, or a match rather, and I wanted to see these two gentlemen have a go at it, and we can make a decision on whether or not to include this into the pool. So starting in the bottom right corner of the map, playing as a blue pieces, we have none other than Slow, and his opponent spawning in the top left side of Fallendell. Playing as the red pieces, we have Eco Noob, who's a very talented macro player, has a great style, really tough opponent, and you know, both of these players are no slouch in the game, so we should have a really interesting match. You see Eco Noob starting out with some ticks here, immediately sending them across the map. Take a look at his player view maybe, and even his camera, and see how he likes to navigate these early games. How he's going to try and find some damage, and where his opponent has spawned even, because Slow could have very well spawned in this top right side, but you know, he's gone ahead and found him in the bottom left here. Excuse me, bottom right. And is going to get a mechs perhaps. We'll take a look. He can't really get the flanking damage by moving to the other side, so he's just going to have to pick away at it. Ends up getting one of those mexes and falls prey to the LLT in the end. I actually really like this base construction from Slow. So like the two solar collectors flanking these metal extractors with this light laser tower on the opposite end, protecting the back of your base. That's just really good base design. And is expanding with one construction bot on this low ground. I like to place a radar on this hill, actually. We see he's starting one right now. And unfortunately, is this metal extractor going to go down to this tick of Eco Noob? Yeah, so he's going to find the damage. Steps out of the line of fire of that grunt, and he's going to get that metal extractor for his trouble. So 2 metal extractors for 2 ticks is not a bad trade at all. See back in Eco Noob's base, he's getting a construction turret up. He's going to be capping this mechs on the low ground with his commander, and I'm assuming adding a radar. We don't see one yet. And has this Lazarus Resbot in the back, getting all this reclaim. We see he's got nothing but these rocks kind of queued up to get into his economy. And I don't see a reclaim bot out for Slow just yet, so I'm wondering if he is aware of just how much reclaim. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. Here we are. Getting away at this tree, so big difference between both these players. We see Eco Noob targeting or prioritizing the metal. We have grunts versus pawns here. This can be a difficult matchup to navigate if you're not really on top of your micro. I know some of these higher level players on the ladder are really strong at abusing the range difference between the pawns and grunts. So we'll have to see how both these players are going to take engagements. We see Slow picking off one of those ticks on the bottom mid side. It's going to give a little bit of cover to this construction bot in the middle expanding. And Slow is getting his own construction turret up, so really kind of even play so far. We can take a look at the statistics. Both players within 100 mass of each other. Sitting over here in Eco Noob's base, he's got this one construction turret churning away, one construction bot just adding on some wind turbines constantly, and a couple of expanding engineers. So we're gonna have to back it up, take a sip of water. You have a little bit of an engagement here on both sides of the map. In the bottom mid, we see it on the mini map, but here in the top right corner, some grunts are shooing away these pawns for now down off of this high ground. I don't think he's going to slow down this expanding construction bot too much. You're getting up a radar tower here and a couple of LLTs. Going to have to see it. Does Slow take this engagement? Still, you really can't fight this with proper micro. As soon as the pawns step forward, we see Slow moving back, so really strong control. You can see in the minimap in the bottom mid side, there's another pack of grunts moving across the map. Is he going to find these undefended mexes here? Eco Noob's playing a little bit greedy with his commander. Sure, he's expanding relatively quickly, but hasn't added any radars or LLT behind to protect those mexes. So, see Chisato asking in the chat, feels like a Aurora versus Mantis matchup, but with Aurora's having 2 times the speed. He's referring to FAF. Auroras have a higher range than Mantis, so it's kind of the same interaction. 2 equivalent units, just one is balanced a little differently than the others. But he's saying the Auroras have 2 times the speed, so I kind of feel that way. Grunts are very strong. This matchup can be very tough, honestly. Pawns versus Grunts. You really have to flank. I've been working that into my own play. Just setting up big concaves and flanks. If they want to step forward, you have to be able to get that flanking damage. You can't just let them cut you all day, so gotta look for those opportunities. See more damage getting done. These 3 Grunts picking off 3 metal extractors, so really paying for themselves. Could take a look back at the top side of the map. Eco Noob continuing to play safe and secure, adding on the radar 2 LLTs before moving on to this high ground, what I'm assuming. And Slow is gone for air units, so he's got his air factory already out again, a bomber on the battlefield, so I'm wondering how many he's going to construct before sending that across the map. Looks like the second one's going to finish up, and we're going to have a air scout coming out to give him the intel he needs on where he needs to place these bombers. He's got a decent amount of Grunts to protect his main base, though, so this group of pawns is not going to be able to find any real damage on Zlow's side of the map. And I want to say, I like Eco Noob's position. He's foregoing taking the top right and just really securing this bottom left position here, so denying this kind of equivalent position from the blue player. And here we go, these bombers are heading in. We're going to have to see how much damage they're actually going to get done. We have 1 anti-air turret already up, so first bombing run's going to take out the next 2 wind turbines. We have another run. Really nice control from Zlow, trying to avoid that missile turret. So just getting off these 2 runs, and he might be looking to find some extra damage away from the main base. No, he's going to go and make another pass here, just targeting these wind turbines. So picks off another 2 and really doing a great job of winning this anti-air turret. So really trying to get the most value he can out of these units. One of them is going to end up going down, and I think this one is just landing below the surface. That's interesting to see. Meanwhile, in the bottom mid side, Eco Noob's just content to camp this position on the map. He's controlling the middle with a big army. He's got bottom left secured with his commander, so that just leaves him to take this top right with 1 construction bot. Zlow's going to shut that down, pick off that. It's actually a really big pickup here, and he's not going to defend his own, so Eco Noob would have the opportunity to punch back here, perhaps. Still, Zlow is continuing to make a couple of fighters out of this factory. Not sure, he just wants a little bit of information, but yeah. That forced Eco Noob to make an air factory of his own, so looking for some counter damage perhaps. He's going to be making fighters and scouts for now to protect himself. As this battle has gone to the skies, we have some pawns stepping forward on the right side, taking out a couple of Grunts and a construction bot, so a really strong pickup there, denying the only really free expansion his opponent has left. So this game slowed down a little bit. We see Zlow has gone ahead and made a lot of extra res bots here. So he's up to 4. Gonna have to try and keep track of how many of those players like to make. So Eco Noob's only sitting on about 3. So relatively equal numbers. Zlow's bringing back up his Grunt army to perhaps make another attempt at securing this top right side. I mean, he has to know Eco Noob's commanders over there. Randy saying hey in the chat. What's up, Randy? Good to see, yeah. We're doing it live. Yeah, so here we go. Taking off these player views. Got some pawns moving around in the middle of the map, and looks like we have a couple of res Grunts in this army, so really nice job. Andy saying hi, gotta shout back. Andy. Would love to see him play some matches. Such a strong player. And we have some pounders moving out from Zlow, so he went ahead and reclaimed this air factory. He's gone to a vehicle plant and produced a couple pounders initially, but has just moved into medium tank production here. So we have a couple of bombers out for Eco Noob. They're going to be found by these fighters Zlow produced. Is this dogfight going to work out in his favor? So Eco Noob's able to protect those protect those bombers from the blue player's fighters, and should be able to find some counter damage. He's bombing these pounders for now. I doubt that's too effective. You really want to target those weak economy structures. Maybe you get a pass off at these grave robbers. Could definitely take those out with one bombing run. And Eco Noob is stepping forward with his commander. He's going to make another radar, he's trying to cap these mechs. He's going to be adding on some more LLTs, so really not trying to dive into any positions. We have a huge battle here. So many pawns for Eco Noob. Really avoiding this tank army we see forming up in the center, and that's going to force Zlo to retreat. He's bringing his whole force back to try and get in front of this army here from Eco Noob. But he's perfectly content just denying this top right quadrant from the blue player. Still making bombing runs on these slow-moving pounders. He's going to take one out, so really over enough time, these are going to get the job done. It's down to less than 50% health, and Eco Noob doing a great job of staying away from those units, but we have a big army forming here from Zlo. Medium tanks, grunts, and a couple of Thrasher anti-air bots have made their way into the composition here. Eco Noob's going to make the trade. He's going to take out that pounder and retreat off of this hill for now, so just moving back to his LLTs. Take a look at the bottom mid side. Eco Noob finished adding on those LLTs. He's just going to be continuing to pork up this bottom left side of the map. Eco Noob makes a great little bombing trades. He trades a bomber for a radar, but it would have been a little stronger perhaps if the construction bot wasn't exactly right there. So you just quickly rebuild it if he so chooses. And really want to give the advantage to Eco Noob at this point. He's got half of the map locked down. Still relatively even on metal, but Zlo needs to get this top right corner secured like we've seen from Eco Noob, but he's decided otherwise. He's going into an advanced bot lab here. He's eating his own bot lab, Tech 1 bot lab, to kind of fund this, so super close to being done. Wind isn't necessarily cooperating super well, but he's got enough metal to finish building that. So that's going to be a great way to get an advantage over his opponent. He's just trying to get this mass in the top right corner. Not really worrying about securing it just yet. We see one construction bot moving up just to do the job for now. And Eco Noob is posturing in the middle of the map, so he's doing a really good job preparing these units as they move to the another theater of the map. He's going to be pressuring this middle position, which I want to say is kind of vulnerable. He has one pounder. Was it 6 LLTs? And that is more than this amount of stouts can easily clear this out. So see, first initial shot, you really want to dive in and get these shots off with your Janus. This is the damage dealing unit in this army. The tanks are there to soak up the damage from these LLTs, and we see he just kind of circled in, got the shots off with the Janus, and then backs out. Should be seeing a lot more of that unit movement on the top right side of the map. Eco Noob doing a really good job bullying Zlo off of this hill. So he's sending back this one stout. A couple of aggravators are going to be dealt with, and we have another pass here in the bottom. These Janus getting their shots off. You see he's just continuing to kind of circle in, tank the damage from the LLTs with his medium tanks, and let the Janus do their thing. They'll get their value over time if you get enough shots. And where are these Tech 2 units? We finally see these fiends making their way onto the battlefield, so he's going to use an initial one to deal with this pawn group on the right side. But that's going to give Eco Noob the opportunity to make some more trades here in the center, and this is a really scary army here. I mean, that's a lot of medium tanks, a lot of Janus. These units on the ground are getting quickly reclaimed by the Lazarus, and we see this first fiend is making short work of these pawns. Gotta abuse that range. I mean, pawns are really strong. They have the same DPS as the Blitz, so they're quite dangerous in these groups here. See that one? These pawns are just not enough to... the one fiend is not strong enough to deal with that number of pawns. And here we go. Fiend's leading the charge here, stepping through in the center, trying to force Eco Noob back just a little bit. He's bringing up his fighters to protect this army, sensing some kind of danger, and these pawns are going to get a little bit more value. This construction turret is making a short work of those, reclaiming those units, and Zlo's trying to get one advanced metal extractor up. Do we see a transition from Eco Noob? No, he's just staying on this 3 factory production, continuing to make bombers. This is an interesting choice. He knows he has air control right now, so maybe he's thinking he can find some more economic damage. He has to know he's ahead, and he's stepping forward. We see Zlo is trying to take a fight, but these Janus are doing a great job getting these shots off, doing so much damage to any unit that chases them down. And one Sheldon is on the field, so he's going to be peppering this army from afar for now. They don't do the most damage, but they'll definitely force a fight, and that's what Zlo's getting. He's bringing his commander up, but I don't know if he's got enough units to stop this army. One fiend steps forward. It's going to get down and drawing a little bit of friendly fire damage from those Janus. You really have to watch out with that. But these tanks are rotating around the base here. They're going to make short work of all these wind turbines. And this has to be the game for Zlo. He's in the bottom right quadrant of the map. He has no expansions. noob continuing to barrel down with his factory production. And should be closing out the game here. This is a nice attempt by Zlo to tech up when the match kind of slowed down, but he hadn't quite secured this top right quadrant of the map. And he's offering his commander to trade, but noob's not going to take it. He's just going to circle around, finish clearing out this base here. And can Zlo somehow miraculously deal with this commander? No, it's going to go down. And we have a hit squad here. It's going to go down, so nice job. Well played, noob. Taking the game from a formidable opponent. So hopefully you all enjoyed these kinds of 1v1 casts. And I'll be sure to produce some more of them in the future. So as always, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next replay.